Here we go. Okay. So let's do this together. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So for number one, we want to know how many inches there are in 8 feet. So basically what we're saying here is we want to know how many inches is 8 feet, right? That's for number one. So basically we have feet and inches, right? So we know we're going to want to use the first row here, okay? We're going to want to use the first row here. Okay, good. But again, yeah, let's get to this. What we really want to know is how many inches is 8 feet equal to. So we start out in feet. We want to end in inches, right? We start out in feet. We want to end in inches. So we're going to want to use this one. Again, the unit you begin in is the denominator. The unit you end in is the numerator. So that's why we're going to multiply by this one, as you can see. Okay? So we're going to multiply by this conversion factor. Again, we're going from feet to inches. We start out in the bottom, we end in the top. So we're going to take 8 feet, multiply by this. Okay, I don't have the lines in, but let me draw them now. So again, these units cancel each other, okay? They're going to cancel each other. I know here I used a dot, but again, a dot is other notation people use for multiplication. So what we end up with is 12 inches times 8, which is 12 times 8 inches, which is 96 inches. So again, we use this conversion factor. We're going to multiply. These units cancel, right? And so we end up with, in terms of inches, which is what we want, we get 12 times 8, which is 96 inches. Now, before I go on to the next one, let me try something. I used to do this with the other class. Excuse me, last semester I used to do this. So I do this a lot because I really want to make sure this makes sense. You can be honest, okay? I mean, if it does make sense, please say so, okay? Again, I really want to make sure everyone is learning this. That's my main goal. Okay? And I hope, how do I say this? Although from what it sounds like, this is not the case. If you have a question, don't be afraid to ask. So, I mean, also you can, I mean, I do have office hours today as well. So, okay, so that's for the first one, okay? The second one, number 2, is a little tricky. And now, why is it tricky? Well, notice here that, okay, notice here that we want to know how many inches there are in yards, right? In other words, we have 6 yards. We want to know how many inches that is. Now, why is that tricky? Well, if you look here, we don't have yards directly in terms of inches, right? We have 1 yard is 3 feet, but we don't have 1 yard equals so many inches. We don't have that. But so, okay, so what can we do? Well, what we can do is this. We do have yards in terms of feet. Then we have, and we also, excuse me, have feet in terms of inches, right? So because of that, we can go from yards to feet and then go from feet to inches. So in other words, as stated here, we're going to have to do 2 conversions. Okay? So let's do that. So we know that 3 feet is 1 yard, right? So first, we're going to convert from yards to feet. Okay, again, we know that yards is in terms of feet, and then we can go from feet to inches. So we're going in steps. Okay, so how do we get 6 yards in terms of feet? Well, we use this unit conversion. Okay, sorry to go back and forth like this, but I guess it's okay. So we start out in yards, 6 yards. We want to go into feet, down to up. We're going to use this one. Okay. Okay. So because of that, we're going to multiply by this conversion factor. That's what we're going to do. And so, okay, again, as I wrote here, the unit that we want to disappear, we don't want our answer in yards, we want it in feet. We want that unit yards to go away. So that's why it's in the denominator, right? So we're going to multiply. These are going to cancel. And because these cancel, we get 6 times 3 feet, which is 18 feet. So we know we have 6 yards in terms of feet. We have 6 yards is 18 feet. Now, okay, we want to go from feet to inches. And it's really just like the previous problem now, right? You have some feet, you want it in terms of inches, right? You start out in feet, you want to multiply, you want to somehow get into inches. That's what this conversion factor was. And that's what we're using here. So we multiply by this. So we multiply, again, the denominator cancels, we're left with inches. We get 18 times 12, which is 216 inches. So again, this one was a little tricky. It's just going in steps. That's why it's a little, you know, I guess it's a little harder. So. Yeah. Oh, and I said round to 2 decimal places, but I didn't do that. All right. All right. Are there any questions on this? I know this is not easy stuff. Believe me, I know. Okay. But again, you know, if you're confused, please say something. I know the other day I was, you know, stressed out about other things, not the class, you know. But again, I still want people to ask questions. All right. Well, now we're going to move on then to more stuff from chapter 2. Okay. Get my notes as well. Okay. Let's see, where are those? What's this? I'm just going to get the other notes. Bear with me. Oh, there it is. All right. Let me just share it. Here it comes. There it is. Okay. Good. So here we're going to look at capacity, and we're also going to consider the metric system. Good. Okay. There. Okay. Capacity is very similar to volume in that capacity, it's how much liquid an object can hold when it's filled up. That's what capacity is. I know it's kind of a strange definition. I'm not sure why they're using that instead of volume, but that's just what they're using. And we actually do use this here in the United States. You know, you'll see, like, if you go to the market, you'll buy like a quart of milk. Quart is a unit for capacity. You know, to mix something, when you're making something, like mix, you know, whatever it is in the ingredient list, it'll be like a pint of water or something, right? Pint, that's something we use. A gallon, a cup, ounce, well, excuse me, fluid ounce, okay? These are units that we use for capacity. Okay? Now, just like with length and width, length and weight, okay? Just like with those, right? What we can do is we can convert between units, okay? We can do that. Okay. So I forgot to put my, sorry about that. So we can convert between units, okay? And that's what we're going to do. And this is the definitions that we're going to use. I know it's a lot, but again, it's in the textbook and it's in the notes, of course, so you don't have to memorize this. I could not memorize all this. But again, it's really the same idea as what we saw before. we're going to use these conversion factors to convert. So if you want it, so we'll do some examples of that. But we're basically going to use these conversion factors. Okay. So for instance, let's say we want to know how many fluid ounces are there in 9 quarts. In 9 quarts. So what does this tell us? We're going from quarts to fluid ounces. I know it's on the slide, but let me show you how to get it. The conversion factor. We're going from quart to fluid ounces, okay? But this is a little tricky though, because if you look here, we don't have quart directly in terms of fluid ounces, right? We don't have that, but what we do have is this. We know 1 quart is 4 cups, and we know 1 cup is 8 fluid ounces. So what can we do? We can go from quart to cups, and then from cups to fluid ounces. Okay, so let me say that again. We don't have 1 quart equals so many fluid ounces. We don't have that. But what we can do is this. We know 1 cup is 8 fluid ounces. We know a quart is 4 cups. So we can go from quart to cups and then cups to fluid ounces. Okay, so let's do that. Now, let's get 9 quarts in terms of cups. And what do we multiply by? Well, we're going to multiply by this. That's over here, right? We start out in quart, and we want our answer in cups, right? Denominator to the numerator. Denominator to the numerator. It's like like when you're working your way up, right? Okay? So that's what we're doing. We're going to multiply by that. We have 9 quarts times 4 cups over 1 quart. And again, the units cancel. Even though this is plural, these are going to cancel. So we're left with 9 times 4, which is 36 cups. Okay. That's what we have here. Just want to pause the recording.